Wellness Wednesday. I'm Carla Coleman, Director of Communications at New Salem Baptist Church. I'm your host this evening, as always, and I have to say we're in a different setting tonight. We are actually in the sanctuary at New Salem Baptist Church, and we're here with some of our senior saints who are here to just give us some insight on New Salem then and now. We are celebrating our 112th anniversary here at New Salem. And so this is a great opportunity once again to talk about the church and its history and just the beauty of being a part of such a wonderful church. So come on in, get into the chat, say hello to each other, say hello, and get your questions ready, because we will be having a Q&A at the end, and we'll get started soon. All right. So with us tonight is Deaconess Naomi Ayers. Here you are.
Hello.
And then also we have with us Deaconess Janet Higginbotham.
Good evening.
So welcome, welcome. So glad you're able to join our Wellness Wednesday this week. Glad to have you. We have been already talking and laughing and having a good time. And I know Deaconess Higginbotham, everyone calls you my love.
My love. I call everybody my love.
So wonderful. So it's so nice to have you here with us. Let's first tell us a little bit about yourselves and, how long you've been a member and how you became a member here at New Salem Baptist Church. So I'll start with you, Deaconess Ayers.
I've been a member here for almost 50 years. And I came to this church, a friend of mine brought me to this church, the New Salem church family, when we were on Champion Avenue.
Nice.
And it did not have a roof on it. And I told her, it was on a Sunday morning, I said, why are you taking me to after our joint? I said, on Sunday morning, are you crazy? She said, shh, this is a church. And we pulled the door open and walked down those steps, and they were having a hallelujah good time.
Oh, wonderful.
Praising the Lord. Mm-hmm. It wasn't that many people there, but they were all so warm and friendly. And that's what made me like it, because they welcomed me.
Right.
And,
right.
I was just a young woman at that time, and I really wasn't looking for a church home because I grew up as a Methodist.
Okay.
So.
And see, that hasn't changed much at all. I
No.
mean, that's how I felt just a few years when I joined New Salem.
Yes.
Everyone just was so warm and welcoming.
Yes.
Deaconess Higginbotham, how long have you been with New Salem?
Well, I came here in the 60s, and I had 4 children and a husband, and we just lived around the corner on Fairfield, and we could walk over here to the church, and I could bring my kids. And like Naomi said, when we came here, there wasn't a roof on the building, but when we came in here, it was just love. And I was thinking about one of our deaconess Gilda Pitts, and I can remember what she said the day that we walked in, and she did the welcome. She said, with smile in our hearts and God in our faces, that we welcome you. Yes.
Wonderful.
And now we're all together now after over 50 years now that we've been knowing each other.
Wow, 50 years. That sounds
a long
time. It's a long time. That is a long time. Well, tell us, when did, okay, I'll ask you, Deaconess Ayers. So when did they get the roof on the building?
Well, I was there for quite some years, but they had what they called a building fund.
Okay.
And at that time, every weekend, we would be selling dinners of some kind or something to promote the building fund. Mm-hmm. So I think I might have been there for about 4 or 5 years before we start putting the top part on.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wow.
and the building fund, they were already doing it. So since I love to be in the kitchen cooking and doing, so it was just something that you could take part of.
Sure.
You could be part of because you knew something was going on. And it was the young ones, the old ones, all of them would be there working together.
Nice.
And everybody just be laughing and talking, and it was just what was going on at that time.
A lot of that hasn't changed either.
That hasn't
Right,
changed either.
right.
Excellent.
It's been such a blessing because we can look over the years and see how we've grown. I think when I first came there might have been about 5 families, the McDaniel family and the Sims family, and then a couple more families that were there with
Richardsons.
young children. We all of our children were babies.
Okay.
All of our children. In fact, my youngest daughter was 4 when she got baptized here, and now she's 58. She lives in Atlanta. So I had 4 kids when we came here, and they stayed here. They grew up here, and it was such a blessing.
So at the time, that was Reverend Cleveland that was
Reverend
Right.
Cleveland,
Reverend
right,
Cleveland.
here. Yeah.
right.
Deaconess Higginbotham, tell me a little bit about Reverend Cleveland.
Well, Reverend Cleveland, yes, he was like a dad to us. And Reverend Cleveland, I can tell you one thing, whatever he said, he didn't pull no punches. I can remember one time we were coming to choir rehearsal, and we thought we could just come in and put on our robes and have on pants. But back then, they didn't allow you to wear. We didn't wear pants to the picnic. If we did, you had to hide them up under your robe. And when we came to the choir rehearsal, I remember him saying, I bought my dog one time, Ricky. And he said, Sister Janet can even bring a dog to church. And I tell you, it was just so amazing. All the things that we did at that time. We had the evangelism, we had all kinds of choirs, we had young adult choir, we had the Guild Girls, we had everything at that time. But it was only a few of us, but it was a great ministry. He taught us a lot of things.
Oh, wonderful. And do you remember Reverend Cleveland as well?
Oh, sure. He was there when I joined. That's who baptized me in the bottom of that church over there, and like where you would be now, that would be the pool, the baptismal pool. It was just open like that, and you go into the furnace room, and they would dress you. Everything was done in the furnace room. So when you think about that, it'll make you smile because we have a baptismal room and everything. But it was just it was just amazing how it had to been the kindness and the love that would draw you to that kind of fellowship and worship, because that was my first opportunity to be introduced to a Baptist fellowship.
Sure.
I come from a Methodist, and at that time, they weren't, Methodist churches did not baptize, they sprinkled you. So see, it was a different cultural thing for me. So it was wide open for me to see and learn so much. So I just dove right into it. I was happy, and I just, and you know what I discovered is that each of the people, it didn't have to be very many of them, because each of them had a dual role.
Right.
Amen.
They belonged to the choir, they belonged to the usher board, and one Sunday they would sing, next Sunday they would be ushering. So, that's the way it was.
Excellent.
But it was a joy and a pleasure.
So what were you involved in?
I sing in the choir.
Okay.
And I was, at one time, I was the wedding coordinator.
Oh.
Because I love to create things, and I could always create pretty things.
Yeah.
I would my imagination would just be out of there. But I did a lot of weddings there, and that's even after the roof was on.
Okay.
But downstairs is when I got, you had an opportunity. If there was an opening, you would just say, well, I can do that.
Right.
It was no application, nothing. You just go and do it. And then if you needed help, somebody was always willing to step up and help you. Like Miss Johnston, they had a florist.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so I'd tell her put the flowers in, and she said, can you use some greenery? Just, just work together as a team. And we had tea parties. Have you ever been to a calendar of tea parties?
Well,
12 each month
12 tables.
of the year. There was 12 tables. That was one of the fundraisers.
Oh, Wonderful.
tea parties, and we called them tea parties, and everybody that particular month would be whatever was going on in that particular month. That's what their theme for the table would be. And all we would be cooking cookies and sandwiches and special punch, and people would just come and enjoy, and the people from downtown city council and stuff would come and judge the tables. So we've lost, Mrs. Cage would be wide open in that,
Right.
because she loved to do that kind of thing. So, you know, it was just so much to do. And do you know, we would be at that church 1:30, 2:30, 3
In the-
o'clock in the
fixing the
morning,
tables.
fixing those tables, and we didn't think anything about it. Everything had to be you
Just
know,
right.
Just right.
Right.
Oh, I miss those tea
Uh,
parties.
Those tea
I really
parties
do.
were
The church
something.
tea parties were
Yes.
always, and as a little girl, I used to love that. The sandwiches
The
and
tea
cups
sandwiches and the little
just,
cups,
You
yes.
know, I miss that a
It was
lot.
really nice.
Nice.
It was
I remember my mom having a table for Thanksgiving, and she had to put all the turkeys and all the meat and everything on the table. And while we were upstairs, they had got in the food, and they were. But I mean, it was so beautiful. I remember one time it was called Me and Miss had a traffic light, and then we had just an empty picture. But everything had to be to a T. You had the best food, didn't we, my love? Oh my goodness, you just can't imagine.
You would eat from table to table
Right.
all evening, because every table had something different on it. You could experience something different.
That's amazing.
It was wonderful.
And I remember even in Sunday school, I remember teaching Sunday school in the furnace room. In the furnace room, because we didn't have all this space, did we, my love?
No.
And then the bulletins, Miss Coleman did the bulletins. And I was the assistant financial secretary. And I remember when Pastor Cleveland was saying, Sister Jenny, you there will get nothing count. I was counting 1 penny at a time. I was putting pennies in there, 1 penny
One
at a
penny.
time.
She was trying to wrap the coins.
And then Miss Coleman had the old ink. We didn't have all this modern technology.
No.
But everybody would come together, wouldn't
They
they?
would come.
And-
I would go
and-
down on Saturday evenings to help Miss Coleman
Right.
fold the bulletins after she ran them
Ran
on the
them over
machine.
Right.
So they'd be ready for Sunday morning.
Right.
It was just, you know, everybody would pitch in and had an assignment, and when it was over, with, we was due.
Wonderful.
It was just good.
Yeah.
was
For a
good.
small, you know, congregation, and how we worked together as a team, and everybody bought something. And this reminds me so much is the way it is now. Our church is filled with so many people with different talents
Different
and skills.
talents,
So
different
there's no
talents.
reason for nothing to go really undone. There's always somebody in there,
Yes.
like it is now. If they'll step up, you know, to say, well, I know how to do that. Can I do that? You know, can I be part of that? And it wasn't no, you know what, the main thing about it, they would tell you, now look, you know how to do it, just take it and run with it.
Right.
They would, that's what they tell you to do. And then they come back and say, well, you want me, can I help you? Or do you want me to help you do something? Or do you think this would be, this way they'd approach, do you think that would look better if you just move it just a little bit this way? You know, they wouldn't just automatically move it. They say,
Right.
I think, don't you think, they'd always
They were
say.
respectful.
They were respectful.
Right,
Do you think
respectful.
this would look better if we just move it this way a little bit? I said, yeah, oh, that looks good.
Nice.
And that's just the way it went.
And it makes you
just-
feel good.
It makes you
Right.
feel
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I tell you, my kids, I had 4 kids, and they were baptized in that pool down there. My youngest daughter was 4, and then my son was the oldest, and it was 3 years between him and my daughter. And they all got baptized at the same time down in that little pool. And we had the Buds of Promise, and we had the Gill girls, Gilda and them sung in the choir, and we'd go to the Eastern Union, wouldn't we?
Oh,
We'd
yeah.
go to the conventions, and it
was
was
just,
just
you know,
wonderful.
Nice.
And if
To
you-
me, it was exposure.
Absolutely,
I
for the
was,
children.
yeah, I was not accustomed to doing that, so it was an opportunity. Sometimes they'd be going on conventions, and I'd be ready to put my vacation days in so I could get a chance
Right.
to go.
Yeah.
You know, so it was really good. It is different.
Right.
It was something different,
Right.
and it was a generation and a season at that time, and now it's a generation and a season at this time.
Right.
But some of the same things are going on.
Right.
That's the
exactly.
beauty.
That's the
Some
beauty
that,
of it.
That's the beauty.
That feeling is
That
still here.
is still here.
Yeah.
And you know, back then we didn't stay in hotels when we went to the convention. You stayed at somebody's house. It might have been $4. $4 would be
Well, I
you
wasn't
and the
in that
pianist
crew.
or somebody.
I
But
wasn't
we-
in that crew. But you know, when we were going off on different treats and the seniors, Mama and Papa Troy would get us together. Now we're moving on up now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my next
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
we
So
get
what was it like when?
Oh, Mama and Papa Troy,
Oh.
Pastor Miss Troy came. Mama and Papa got us seniors together. Boy, we'd be scrapping our money all year because they would be planning us to go to some city, and we covered the majority of the states going
Right.
that way.
Wow.
It'd be a busload of us going, and we would have so much fun just to go and to see. And they were just perfect hostess. They made sure that everybody had everything they need, and we were checked in. Pastor would call them and say, "Dad, you got them all in?" You make sure Naomi Janet go to bed. I don't know what he thought we used to do. I don't know why he thought we had to go to bed, but he told us that. Make sure Janet and Naomi goes to bed.
Well, that was my next question, and that is that transition. So you were here.
We were
and went
here.
from
We
Reverend
were here.
Cleveland
To
to Pastor Troy.
Troy.
And I'll tell you one thing, and I said I was going to say this. I was in North Carolina when when he preached his first sermon. We didn't get to hear it. Was on in September.
Okay.
And we came back, and there it was. We thought it was going to be somebody else, and here it was Pastor Troy. And I remember I asked Pastor Troy, I said, Pastor Troy, are you going to be a full-time pastor? He said, Sister Janny, are you going to be a full-time member? And here it is, 37 years
Oh,
later,
we know the answer to that
that
question.
we are here. Ain't
Yeah,
God
he
God
was
is
he
good.
was
God
working
is
at the
good.
state when he
is
came.
Good.
Wow.
Ohio State University when he came. And you know what I want to say is that God don't make mistakes.
Right.
When he placed him here,
Oh,
and our
yes.
poor Sister Troy, she had a rough time because I could just see she was wanting to reach out, but then some of the older, now we still had some of those older members that
Right.
came here, and they didn't have, all of them didn't have positive things to say.
Right.
Now, what are we going to do with this young preacher and his kids and that young wife? Well, what was we supposed to do with him? The church, we sent for him, and God put him in here.
That's right.
God don't make mistakes. And I'm telling you, to see them grow, the
Oh, they're
children are
wonderful.
grown with babies. They got their own babies now. And we watch them kids grow up.
Yes.
It's hard to believe that much time has gone past.
Already.
And it's gone. And now they have grandchildren. You know, when they first came, they just looked like kids.
Just had two kids.
They just had two.
girls.
Hey.
Two girls down in the basement.
And
Down in the basement.
Wait, Sister Troy in here? Yes, she in. Sister Troy, can I tell that story about you? When you told me to mind my business? We just love her. And she said, I said, hi, sister. Hi. She's just switching on out the door. I said, is something going on? Naomi, you mind your business. I said, yes, ma'am. It was so funny. And we just watched them grow.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
not only as God developing their character, but how he, you know, he just empowered them
Sure.
Right.
to stay and to take some things that they didn't think they could take. That's
Right.
what he does, you know.
Right.
How he just, hey, the little people was just moving. and we was moving with them. Sister
Right.
Troy had us jumping and
Oh,
moving,
we was doing
and the puppet
everything.
was going on, and we was trying to, so me and Jan said we was going to go over and sit down and watch them and enjoy it.
Okay.
But it was just
Oh.
fascinating.
Right.
And
To
because
see them come and to how they grew. And then the next thing you know, the church was running over. Some of the other people saying we had never, when they came here, well, I was in Atlanta for 6.5 years when they moved here, but when I come back, they were already in here. Shortly after
you
we
mean
moved
this
here,
well, we
in
were
this
on
building.
Champion,
Okay.
Yeah, and then they moved here, and then after that, I went to Atlanta. I
Okay.
relocated to Atlanta. But just to see them grow and how God has created them, and He don't make no mistakes. He placed them here,
And the church grew.
and,
And
the church just
grew.
exploded.
And I remember when we
It just
came up here, it
exploded.
was it was on an Easter Sunday, on the 3rd of April, and it was 200 cars. Boy, we was stepping. We came, and I can hear Deacon say, "Oh, we'll never fill up all this building," but here we are.
Yes.
Here
Yeah.
we are, 37 years later.
Yes.
And Mama and Miss, I call her Mama Troy and Dad Troy. I call both of them Mom and Dad because she taught us how to love. You know, her and Pastor Troy were so in love, and Pastor Troy would say, "I don't care what you do, you can never stop me from loving you, the love that I have for this church."
Amen.
And they meant it.
God
And
put
they
it in 'em.
showed us, and we would travel. We would go out. We was in the 12. I was in the 12, and we would go everywhere. And Miss Troy would take us different places. And one time we was at Bishop Morton's church or somebody's church. And we all start shouting, and next thing we say, everybody was shouting, you know. And next thing we knew, we said, "Oh, we ain't doing this." Next thing we knew, all of us was under the pew. All of us was under the pew. We went everywhere as a group, and they taught me so much because I was going through things with my husband and stuff, and they ministered to me. I remember Miss George throwing out roses and telling us all about how to minister to your husband and try to do all of that, because it was hard. I was a young wife. I never had a single life. I had 4 kids by the time I was 23.
Oh, wow.
So I never had a single life. So really, they took me under their arms, and she taught us so much. Her and Pastor Troy, and I remember Pastor Troy said, "I will bring you the best." And he really has. We have I have some of the books that he bought. Tony Evans, you hear him on?
Yes.
He was here, and we had the Purpose Driven Life. Rick Warren and Pastor, I got the privilege of going to see Rick Warren with some of the group.
Nice.
And it was just wonderful. So we did that training here, the Purpose Driven Life, and even not too long ago, we did the Enduring Faith, and that program was by Rick Warren. So we've had the best here. It hasn't always been easy. It's no need, as my love said, it hasn't been. It was hard.
It hasn't been easy.
It was hard for them, but they were faithful.
Yes.
They were
And
faithful.
they love this church.
And they loved this church. And we had they had mom and dad, their, pastor's mom and dad. And they were faithful. And the whole family, in my little book that I have, the whole family, I remember they had us all here, and they had welcomed us for a special thing. And the little boys, they were serving and everything, and they served us.
Nice.
They had us upstairs, and they served us a dinner. As a family, they were all servants, dancers. Tiffany and them were dancing, and all the family did something. And Pastor had said, "Well, you can't just be here." And then he made Mom hospitality over everything, didn't he, Mom? He made her over everything. And we had everything for as a group.
Nice.
And learned a lot. And she had us dressing and even had us seniors had us in a program. Remember, my love? She had us in a program, said, I'm going to have you doing plays. They would do all kinds of plays.
It was,
Now
you know, it's just, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It was just an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think back on some of the, we're talking about the good days.
Yes.
But then there was rough days for them.
Yes.
Because not everybody embraced their love or, or wanted to accept it, you know, for whatever reason. Now, when you see people acting out of character, I call it, it's because you have to, what I learned to do is let God take control.
Amen.
Anytime that we were having a confusion or anything, the first thing come to my mind, did you pray about this?
Right.
Did God direct you? And he don't make mistakes. Now we make mistakes. And some of the worst mistakes that we've made is with people.
Right.
Sometimes your intent, see, God knows your intent.
Right.
And sometimes it's you're misunderstood because you have to create a relationship to be able to be understood.
Right.
You have to have a relationship.
Yep.
And,
Right.
and you don't have to force it. If you hang around and do what God wants you to do and what is right, it will just automatically come to you. So I learned to sit back and just wait.
Right.
I'm
you
waiting.
know, with a lot of churches, and we all know black church culture.
Yeah.
When there's change,
Yeah,
Right.
they
it's
resistant.
it's hard.
Right.
It takes a
Resistant.
minute, you know. So
Uh-huh.
but we got to keep moving forward.
Time
and
doesn't
doing
stop.
different things in that,
That's
and
right.
to bring more people into.
Into it.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you know, the ministry doesn't, the thing is that the purpose doesn't change, it's the way you do things. Now, Pastor couldn't teach like Pastor Cleveland because he had all these young people and he had to preach so that he could relate to the young people, not only the young people, us too. And that's what he was able to do. Mom was right by his side. She was right
So,
by
you know,
his
where
side
there
and
is no,
working the programs with the children, with the dancers. We had puppets. We had a little bit of everything. Weave vows, everything.
but when you see, this is what I seen. When you seen it coming together,
Yes.
you know God was in the midst of it.
that.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yes.
soon there was people coming, the church was running over with young people, and they were interested in, because of what she was doing. I mean, there was no problem getting nobody to do it.
Right.
Right.
They come in ready to do it.
So I'm going to clarify. When you say mom, you're talking about Mrs. Troy.
Miss
When
Joy,
she calls her
I call
mom,
I call her
call
mom,
her-
even though I'm 82.
I call her sister.
I still call
You
her
know I
mom
call
and
her.
dad.
I say, sister,
You know, because my parents
she
died
calls
in
them-
'83.
she calls them mom and
and they
dad.
adopted me. I really feel like they adopted me.
Well,
Family.
Wonderful.
I call her sister, and I tell you, you know what? She lost her sister. It was just the two of them. And her sisters and I lived next door
Oh, okay.
to each other. And we just, you know, when I call her sister, I'd be calling sister, and she'd call me sister. Now my sister-in-laws, I call them sometimes sister-in-law. So
Okay.
she'd say, sister-in-law. I mean, that's how
Yes.
we communicated with each other. And it was just simply wonderful. There never was a misunderstanding on who was talking to who. Never no disrespect.
Never.
I mean, it just,
Never.
that's the way it blossomed.
Nice.
It just
That
blossomed like that.
relationship, like you said.
Relationship.
It takes a
Yes,
relationship.
It takes a relationship.
And
And-
having a teachable spirit. Because you never get too old to
You
learn.
can always learn
There's
something.
a lot of stuff I didn't know that they taught me. And Mom taught me about marriage, really. Particularly because, like I said, I was young when I got married, had all my children. And they taught us different things about marriage and love. And even we would have plays. And I remember Mom had roses from in her car, and now she would tell us about putting rose petals but just all this little stuff. And they were there. We could cry together when we go away, and we could talk about everything, and we just grew together as a group and as a church family. It's truly a blessing, and 37 years almost 38 years, and we're still learning.
Wow. Absolutely.
You can learn
We're
something
still
every day.
learning.
every day.
But you know what I had really impacted my life is how you would be able to. Jan and I have been friends for years. I mean years, we've been friends. She was a married woman, and at the time that I connected with her, I was a single woman, I was a divorced woman.
Okay.
But we still had things in common. We were still able to communicate. God shows you how and teaches you how to respect a woman's home.
Amen.
You know, I never went to Jan's house unless she was there. And if I did, I'd call, Jan and I would be out running around all over the city. I could call her home, and I said, we called him Bubba. I said, Bubba, Jan's on the way home, put the porch light on. He said, okay, Neom, I'll be out in the garage waiting on her. You know what I mean? That's the kind of relationship we had.
Yes.
And he accepted me as her sister.
Right.
You know, it was never no funny stuff.
Right.
But God teaches you how to handle yourself
Yes.
Right.
and show you so that you won't be misunderstood. Because one of the worst things is to be accused of doing something and the thought hadn't crossed your
Hasn't
mind.
crossed your mind.
Exactly.
That's a
Right.
hurting thing. But nevertheless, you can't go back, you can't undo it, you just keep moving. He said to me, keep moving and stay close to me.
Right.
He says, I am the vine and you're the branch.
Right.
If you abide in me, I'll abide in you. And so the closer I got to him, the more I was able to do.
Right. Right.
Right.
His joy and peace just absorbed. You know, it gets into your skin like lotion does. You know, you be rubbing yourself. He said, I got this. And I learned, baby, there's some battles you don't have to fight.
We don't have to
The
fight.
Absolutely.
You don't have to fight them.
Yeah.
I just said, well, Jesus, you want to talk to him?
Well, let me ask you this. So, you know, like I told you earlier, I grew up in the church.
Yes.
And one of the things that I always just covet is the fact that there are people like yourself, other women like yourself, that really, especially when I was a Guild Girl, and, you know, and part of the different ministries,
Yeah.
that really helped bring me up.
Yeah.
It's a
Right. Yeah,
village.
right.
It's a village.
It really is.
It's a village.
You know, and that's the beauty of it too. You know, and you talk about the work and the relationship you
Ships,
have with
yeah.
Mrs. Troy, but also I'm sure you have those same relationship with other young women in the church.
Oh,
as well.
yeah, they respect us.
They will come
respect
to you
us.
and talk to you about some things, and some of them, they'll stand back and look at you and watch you. I've had so many of them just watch me, but what it made me do is be aware of who I was.
Sure.
I wanted to know why they're watching me. You know, it just goes with the turf.
Yeah.
You know, and then we were deaconess, so in
Right.
order for us to lead somebody to Christ, we had to be living the life. We were
Exactly,
what we was talking about.
exactly.
We had to live it.
Yes.
And see,
It
my
couldn't be
love
just
was a
on paper.
deaconess way before I was.
It-
I became a deaconess under Pastor Troy.
Okay.
And a trustee under Pastor Troy. I was just
So
like,
you know,
he brought me into everything.
Nice.
And me and my love, we worked together with Mom Troy and Mom and Pop Troy,
Yeah.
Senior. They were, when we had Deaconess Conference, and she was one of our speakers, and we'd go to the Eastern Union. We would go to the different meetings and all. It was wonderful. And I remember some of the things, the property, we had different properties that we had across the street. I remember having a bus, and we could ride through there, didn't we, my love? And you get on the bus, and even, I think, I'm not sure, but I think the thing that they sold, not too long ago?
Oh, yes.
That got us out of debt.
Yes, it did.
And we
That was
remember
part of
walking
it.
over
Investment.
there.
Yes.
We
Walking
walked
over
in
and
the
got
mud.
something else.
Wonderful.
That's
And got
that's
something else.
Kodak Road. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How you just, you know, but it was. See, that's what I'm telling you, my sister, is how everybody has a skill,
Yes.
Right.
and that they're gifted in that skill, that you and I couldn't apply our knowledge because we don't know. But that was done under Adam. And he got it.
Right.
And it was just too good to pass up. But look what it did. It brought things in. You know, you just cannot. I believe in staying in my lane.
Right.
Now, if I don't know my lane, I'm going to sit there till Jesus put me in it. I'm not going to just out bouncing around.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
because it doesn't define your purpose that you're supposed to be doing. Because he has gifts he's put in all of us.
Absolutely.
Right.
Gifts
All of
in
us have
us.
gifts.
Yep, yep.
And everybody's gift is not to be compared.
We're not
But
to compare each
I
other.
tell you, there's some things that I think I'm one of the best at. Now, you
Okay,
wanna know
now
what
you
it
know
is?
what one
What's
of the
that?
things that my
Wait a minute.
love did?
What'd she do?
Listen, we did something for Mom, didn't we, Mom? Her 25th
Yeah.
anniversary, wedding anniversary.
Okay.
Her and Pastor's wedding anniversary, we did that. And Ma
With
done
Maud
had
Hill.
us out in the rain.
3 o'clock in the morning, over here painting the rails, and she'd say, "Naomi, you and Jan, get out there, put that paint on them rails. 1 o'clock in the morning now, and it's raining." Say, "Ma, it's raining." That don't make no difference. Go out there and spray that paint on there. Naomi, get back in here and clean these artificial. You ever clean artificial plants?
No, I haven't.
Well, honey, it's a way to do it. All about learning, and we wanted everything to be
perfect.
perfect for them.
Yes,
Really,
Just
really.
perfect for them.
It was wonderful.
And they were amazed, and they thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, that's
yeah,
wonderful.
just to
Yeah,
just
but
to be
that's that
part
love.
of that.
That, you know,
That's that love. And you know where you find your best joy is when you're making somebody else happy.
Right.
That brings you
you go.
joy.
Visiting, singing, I tell you, we'd be in the choir, and Naomi still sings in the choir. And I
Okay.
remember
Well,
Marilyn
you know,
saying,
I've been
who's,
kicked to the
who's
pot.
that singing out of tune?
Jan won't sing the choir.
And Naomi said, "Come on, Jan,
Jan.
I'm getting back in the choir." I said, "Not
Jan
me,
said,
I'm
"Not
through."
me."
I'm
Jan
through
said,
with the
"They'll
choir
never
now."
call me out."
But we would sing at Women's Day.
Okay.
And Mom
Women's Day,
had
yeah.
the best of speakers for us.
Oh, yeah.
We
Wonderful.
took trips to New York. We went everywhere. In fact, it was what, almost 20 years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had outfits. We had leather coats, didn't we?
Oh,
we,
yeah,
we had
jackets.
suits. I still got my jogging suit. Now,
But we had jackets, and we sold our, well, we
T-shirts.
shouldn't be talking about selling stuff, but we did. We took them out the closet because we weren't
Yeah.
wearing them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these were heavy, beautiful
Oh, you
jackets
couldn't find them.
with leather sleeves
Leather,
on. And
the
these,
best.
let me tell you who bought them. Young sisters here at the church.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah,
we
they
sold
were
our
happy to get
jackets
them,
to them.
and we see them wearing them.
Wonderful.
So,
And
you know,
we-
it just says it's a different time,
Yes,
but
it
there is something for everybody.
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Everybody.
It's something for everybody, and nobody will get left out.
Right.
It's
Nobody.
just, you know, somebody's sitting there and they say, "Come on, you want to go help me do this? Come on, we're going to meet y'all over to help decorate. Come on."
Right.
And we'd have me and Naomi and Gilda, we were in small groups. Pastor started small groups here, so under some of the program from Rick
Rick Warren's,
Boys.
yeah.
Okay.
And they still have small groups. They're still meeting because when a church became this size, it's no way you could meet everybody.
Right.
So that's how he started the small group.
Oh, yeah, the care groups.
Yeah, the care groups.
Yeah.
The care groups.
Just to be able to, and I think they have been really beneficial for, you know, some of the, especially the new sisters and brothers that are
Sure.
coming in. It was a way for them to be introduced to the big church. They thought it was big, but to me, I never thought it was big.
Okay.
Because we just grew along with it.
Right.
You see what I
Okay.
mean?
We were
Okay.
here.
So,
we were here.
but it worked out, and
So it's never felt big to you.
never.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, because we
Yeah.
grew with it.
Right.
We
See,
were right here.
when you grow with some, I just think that's the reason why it never felt big. The building is always big, but I mean the relationship and the congregation.
Sure.
As they came in, you know, half of them we baptized.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we just baptized them and their kids. It was just simply wonderful. I guess that's the reason why it never felt big to me.
Okay.
But, you know, the building, and when we look out there and we see all the people, and when we were doing concerts, and
Everything.
It was just-
everything. And even my grandson I remember him coming down that pew in Italian.
Okay.
Italian. He's 28 now. He came, I think he was 5. And he said, Grandma, I want to get baptized. So Pastor Troy baptized my grandson. He baptized our nephews and all. And Jeremy is a minister. All of us are here together. And I was going to tell you, my sister was a member here. And we were able to go to the School of Ministry because of Pastor Troy.
Oh, nice.
And that was in 92 that we did 2 years. I never did go back because Pastor had all kinds of training here. So we didn't have to worry about it.
So
we had the best of everything.
Well, it's
So a
one
lot
thing
of
about
focus on the education.
yes,
Education.
and they don't bring you nothing but the best.
They brought
They
us
bring
the
you
best.
people in that can feed you.
Right.
He knows the desires and the need of the congregation. So his ministers that he bring in, they are keyed on it, dead
Right,
on it, and
right.
it just makes it so. Like when we would have revivals, girl,
Oh,
listen, we
yeah.
wouldn't miss a night. We just couldn't miss a night. We had to, and sometimes I get off where I say, Jan, I ain't going tonight. And then Pastor cut it down to 3 nights.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
let me
he
tell you,
did. He
this
cut
place
it
would be
to
running
3.
over, and it was wonderful.
Wow.
You just felt that you were being fed.
Yes.
They would be talking about things that could be something you're going through right at that time.
At the time.
Right at that time. So it doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
Because you knew that, he's going to give you the word where you
Right.
can go read it and it would minister to you.
And he gave us
And you feel-
notes. I
hey.
still have some of my notes. In fact, I heard one of Pastor Troy's sermons on faith. I still have the little cassette tapes.
Okay.
That I listen to that tape
I
right
have tons
now.
of them.
And we have tons. And one big thing that we had, my love, remember New Year's night?
Oh,
Man, and puppets night. People was in the
boy.
balcony.
We would be
People
running
was
over.
everywhere, everywhere. And we had pups almost as tall as a pew, didn't we, Mom? We had puppets, and everybody came from everywhere to see our puppets. The ministry that Mom
She
started.
started that.
Yeah, she
So,
started all of
that's
that.
what I say about gifts.
Yeah.
Everybody has them.
As their gifts.
Mhm.
Yep.
And when she bought that puppet ministry, it wasn't nothing for these young people. They
Right,
loved getting
and
involved
adults.
in it.
We adults, we'd be
Yeah.
right. in the
Well, we
front
would
seat.
come, but I'm just
too.
saying they would really be participating in it. We look
Right.
forward to coming to see what was going to be the New Year theme for this year and
Yeah.
who's coming and all that. And it was a pleasure to find yourself in the house of the Lord.
Amen.
Right.
To start
You
a
were
new year
never
off
bored.
right.
We were never bored.
To start a new year
No.
right.
Nice. Nice.
So that, it's just been, it's
It's
been a
been-
journey,
Yeah.
but it's been rewarding.
Yes.
It has
yes,
been creative,
Yes.
Wow. Creative. Yes.
creative.
And it's still being.
Hey, renovation, starting over.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, and God has stripped some people,
Right.
made them like new. You
Right.
can't remember the old because the
Right.
new is shining too
Okay.
good.
Yes.
Okay.
Honey, don't have me to get up from here and start shouting now. It ain't nothing for me to do a leg. I can't wait to get back in here.
Hey, look.
But
I
I
know
tell
y'all
you,
can't wait to
I
get
tell you,
back.
God is something else, ain't he?
Yes, he is.
Hey.
They that wait upon
They
the
that
Lord
wait.
shall renew their
So
strength.
you know what? When we
Yeah.
open this building again,
Oh, boy.
oh, you talking about giving up the praise.
Yes.
You talking about people gonna be praising him.
Yes.
Yes.
This is what he designed it for.
Right.
But he had to separate it so
Yeah.
he could get us together.
Right.
Get you together. Put something on your mind.
Mind.
Right.
I want you to think about me.
Right.
Because I got it all. I can do it all, and I know it all. Now, what have you got?
Right.
I can do all things through you,
Through
I said
Christ.
to him.
Right.
He says, all right, then, let's go.
Uh-huh.
So how has it been? It's been a year or more where we had to, because
Endure,
of the
yeah.
pandemic. I know you've been watching every
Oh,
Sunday.
honey, I tried
They ain't
to
missed a
find
beat.
some of the stuff, and they did 10 babies over the. Oh, and blessed 10 babies. That was
Yeah, the
wonderful.
baby
We were
dedication.
able to
Dedication,
see
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And
Now these babies never stopped coming.
No, they didn't stop.
They can have what you want to have, but they kept right on coming, didn't they?
Yeah, and they would tell, the pastor would have them all
Yeah.
coming down here, and
It's-
he would
it's just
tell
wonderful.
them stories. And then Mama, she started something called, I ain't gonna say it too loud, it's called the Lord's Table. And it was for weight management. Don't
Okay.
say it too loud.
Oh, because she'll have you out there
Hey,
exercising,
look,
won't
this
she?
the one she got up in there.
I try to get my
Hey,
love
listen,
together.
hey, I said I ain't going because I was under too much stress at that time. You know, a lot has transpired within
Oh,
just
yeah.
that single time that
Yeah.
we were shut down.
Yes.
Right.
I lost my son,
Yeah.
and it was devastating.
Oh, I
Right.
bet. Oh,
But-
absolutely.
Right.
God, He carried me, my sister, like a newborn baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how come I know Him.
Yeah.
When I looked down there and I didn't know which way to go or what to say, how could you say anything?
Right.
There was no
Right.
words.
Right.
And He just lifted me up. Oh, He
Right.
just carried me.
Yeah.
Just carried me.
Yeah.
Wiped all my tears.
Yeah.
He said, come
Yeah.
on. He said, I got you.
Yeah.
Those footprints in the sand.
Yeah.
It was Him
Yes, that
carrying
was
me.
Him.
Yeah. One day at
How
a time.
can you do anything? And you know, the most amazing thing about it, you can't look back with regrets.
No.
No.
You can't. You
No.
can't. You can't. Yeah.
No.
Because you knew where He has brought you.
Right.
He kept my mind.
Yes.
I
Right.
thought that I would never be the same again. But here I am to
Here
tell
we
the
are.
story, and I'm better than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And each day,
It gets
when
better.
it gets better.
Yeah.
Because Father's Day just passed, and oh, how I
Right.
missed Him.
It was
And
something.
I just, you know, I
Yeah.
just said, well, you know. And all I could do was sit on my patio and just look up at the sky, and the sky was so beautiful.
Beautiful.
He created the artwork that no man can do.
Right.
And I
right.
found peace and joy in that.
Right.
With the sun just shining on me, just like it was, you know, something new. And it
Right.
was new. It was new. I was discovering a new peace
Yeah,
and joy that was
right.
coming
Yeah.
from Him.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
needed for me. So,
and I
you
lost
know.
my daughter also. She was 59.
Okay.
And I lost my daughter-in-law. It was just a year ago
Oh.
that we had the memorial and everything. But you know, now my granddaughter in the graduation that they had, she
Yes.
graduated from Capitol, and my
Okay.
Yeah.
her was my daughter's
Yeah.
daughter, and her son just graduated because she believed in education.
Okay.
And so they both graduated this year. Solomon, he graduated from Central State on the 15th, and Brooklyn graduated on the 8th from Capitol.
Wonderful.
And
Yeah, I saw
But
them
the-
in the graduation Sunday.
The treasure that their mom left them,
yeah,
they were able to go on with it. They
Yeah.
didn't drop it.
No.
They didn't get to the
Yeah.
side. They carried on to fulfill it in her honor because she poured it into them.
yes,
And
yeah.
Jan would be going to get them and everything, and I'd just be praying. I said, Lord, keep them. So the joy is that they have succeeded.
Yeah, and
right.
You know, they finished school, and their mom is gone. You
Right.
know, we all have lost something
Right,
along the way.
yes.
That it may seem, it could be years ago, but it seemed like it was yesterday.
yeah,
Absolutely.
And then when the
yesterday.
virus came, so many people lost their
Right,
loved ones.
right.
But I'm telling you that there was a rebirth. God's doing a new thing.
Right, right,
So when He does a new thing, He takes the old from you
right,
and He pushes you forward.
Forward.
Right.
Yes.
You don't have time. Time is moving so fast. You don't have time to worry about what's gone.
right, right.
Because if worrying about it, it wouldn't have never happened.
Right. Right.
You know, we just carry on.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
give Him the honor, praise, and glory
Yeah,
for things as well as they are today.
yes,
Thanking Him for your life,
Right.
my life, sister and brother Troy's life. You know, they still have their parents.
right.
And that's
they
a
still
blessing.
have their
Blessing.
mom,
They-
95.
I
Mama
Both
and
of them.
Papa
And
is
they
still
had
here.
what,
Here.
75?
Oh,
Their
man.
anniversary, 75
So,
years.
You know,
Oh,
it's
man.
wonderful.
It's
There's so
wonderful.
much stuff to
Yeah.
celebrate and to
Absolutely.
be thankful for. You know.
So I know you're excited about us coming back at some point in the next
Oh,
year. I know
yes,
you
but
can't
I'm
wait.
enjoying it home. It's all right, but really, no. It's nothing
Now,
to get back in
I
the
can
place.
say that I miss it. And
We-
I'll tell you what I miss about. I miss the fellowship.
Fellowship,
Yes.
right.
I miss
And-
seeing people, and like we haven't seen them, so when we see them, it's just like when we seen them
yeah.
going through there. We came to get when we had our Women's Day drive through
Yes.
the park.
Right.
Oh, it was just like
It was
something brand
wonderful.
new. Just to see the people, you miss
Sure.
the fellowship. You miss the fellowship.
And we forgot to tell you about Mom being over human trafficking, and I still got blankets for her. She did that from the Eastern Union. She
From
brought people
straight
from
through.
Africa, everywhere, wasn't it, Mom? And she's still doing that.
She's still doing it,
all
yeah.
over the nation. She's in charge. She's
So,
in
you know,
charge.
it's good
because
to be.
none of us knows what circumstance we might.
That's
we
right.
can't say, "Well, I won't do this. I won't." You don't know
Well,
what
that'll
you
never
might
happen
do.
in my
You don't
family.
know
Yes,
You don't
and
know.
You
and
don't
I
know.
know my grandson, Karen's oldest son, Italian, that got baptized. He had really struggled, and he's still having trouble. Not with his mom being gone, but I thank God, him and Gabriel. And Jesus, the main thing. Jesus
There you go.
is the main ingredient.
That's the ingredient that's
And
missing.
We just have to have patience and tell them the truth. We was out there, even in my Sunday school, in there with the woman, wife, mother. I always say, we was sinning and grinning. and so God wants us to have patience.
Yes,
He
yes.
waited on us. He waited
Yeah,
on us. He
but you
waited
got
for
to,
me.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't back up off of it.
Yeah.
When you know the truth,
Yeah.
and He is the
He
truth.
waited
Yes, he
for
is.
us.
He is the one and only. As you
Yeah.
say, your ticket, that's your ticket.
Yeah.
And He ain't gonna put nothing on you that He ain't already put you
Right.
in that you can't survive. But you gotta trust Him.
You gotta
Right.
trust it.
And I tell these young people every day, I said, I know how you can get out that problem.
Yeah.
You know, Granny? Yeah, I know. You want to hear? Come here, I'll tell you how you get out of it. And they're not, listen, the same thing, just with a different name.
There it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
Different name, but the same thing.
Right. It is so wonderful. We could talk about Mom and Dad all night, and
Because
and
it makes
the
us
love.
think about,
It's
you
a
know, how
lot.
long they've been with us, and
Yeah,
the things,
yeah.
that some of the struggles we've been
Struggles
through, and the
we've been
joy,
through.
but the joy overrides the struggles.
That's
Right,
the joy
right.
The
overrides.
positive overrides the negative.
Uh-huh.
Because part of that is just creating your character.
Right.
So it can't
exactly.
be eliminated. You got to live through it. You got to go through it. You got to
And
go
you know,
through
the
it.
kitchen, we can eat,
his hand.
what's it called, chicken and waffles. We'll look forward to grits. Oh, yeah, biscuits, everything. And we
Yeah.
could take
Hey,
them
but
into
we
our
ain't
class.
supposed to be eating that now, but if they offer some, we'll be the first ones at the table.
and the men would do it. Her family worked in that. So their family, and you know, Tiffany was a dancer. All of them took part in the church.
Yeah.
They didn't
They
just
grew
sit
up-
down.
they grew up
They didn't just sit
taking
down
part
and
in
say,
working.
well, I'm the pastor. Miss Joy haven't sat down since she been. Look at, she ain't gained the amp. Don't
I know,
tell her.
I won't tell
Don't tell her.
But she hasn't. I mean, you know, she's maintained because she stays active.
Active.
She's very
active.
active in
and
this
busy
church.
and doing
And,
and
that's what we
going
all
and
have to
coming,
be.
and we have to be. You have to. That's the only way you're gonna keep your mind.
And that's what keeps the ministry strong.
You got to
That's
do
right.
it.
Absolutely. All
You
of
got
us
to
being,
do it.
and
being
after, and I
involved.
telling Jan, I said, listen, we're teenagers now.
Yeah.
Don't tell nobody.
Okay,
That's a
I'll-
secret.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but you know, in order for you to maintain your thought, you better put your mind useful, and
Right.
it has to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
It can't be wasting. You have
Right.
very little time to waste the good
You
energy
don't have
that
no
you
time.
have.
Right.
You don't have no
You
time.
don't know the day he's going to call. You don't
You
know
have
the
to
day
speak
nor the
right.
hour.
Positive thoughts into other people,
Absolutely.
and don't be scared. You can't be a scaredy cat.
And you know my little baby right here?
Who?
You know, she did my wedding in 3 months.
Oh
I
my
did.
goodness.
And
I
then
did.
her and my sister.
Uh-huh.
My sister said, well, you didn't tell me. It was, she did our wedding, and it was because I didn't have a wedding.
Okay.
Because in fact, me and my husband didn't stay together the first night we got married. We got married over there on Fairfield. And Pastor, I said, Pastor, I want a wedding. He said, well, you've been married 40. I said, I want a real wedding. So my husband said, you can either take a cruise or you can have a wedding.
Jan
And so
wanted a
they
wedding.
did
She
my
chose a wedding.
I got the pictures.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
I got
yeah,
the
you got the-
pictures.
hey,
everything.
and we
It was
did that. Let me tell
cold-blooded.
you.
Look at there, my love. Everything, Pastor. I got everything in here.
Listen.
Everything in here.
And you know what
Yes.
she be doing? I'd say,
Look
Jan,
at Mom George. You got to look at that, Mom.
there she is.
Yeah, there she
Hey, look, I'm
her and
tell-
Miss Farmer.
Miss
You
Farmer.
and Miss Farmer.
Miss
We're
Farmer
going to have
gone.
to share some of these pictures on,
Oh,
on
y'all
our
can,
social
you can.
media.
I got books, everything.
Hey, but I'm
anybody.
telling you, I wouldn't do it again. You know what she told me? Somebody's getting on my nerves. I said, somebody's getting on your nerves. I said, well, why don't you farm? Get rid of them. I'd be tell Jan, you call this person and
Oh,
request
she's
this for
an
today.
organizer. She's
Oh.
I
organized.
said, now you got to get your order in. Okay, my love. I come back, Jan, up running around the corner someplace and done everything but that.
What you told her
But
to do.
and then she would say, my love, somebody's getting on my nerves. I said, well, why don't you get rid of them?
But that's the beauty of the relationship.
That's the beauty
that
of the
you
relationship.
have with people in the
Yes.
church and people that are close
And-
to you
and-
and
And
that
it
you've
was beautiful.
known for decades.
For
She's
decades.
taught us,
Decades.
they've taught us so much,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
we're still learning.
Uh-huh.
Every day the Lord teaches me something.
Nice.
In my kitchen, just little stuff. Now you can use this instead of that. You don't have to go to the store for everything. Use the beans, use whatever you got in the house, because they taught us how to cook.
Nice.
I don't like to cook, but my sister and them cook, and Naomi cooked, and so I don't have to worry
You don't
about
have to
eating.
worry about
Hey,
that.
You can tell.
Hey, look, but I told her, you know, even now, I don't cook like I used to cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't bake those cakes because we don't eat them.
You don't
No,
eat
we
'em,
don't eat 'em
exactly.
So
now.
I don't want
Yeah.
it in my house because you know we're teenagers now. We have
Yeah.
to
That's
monitor
right.
our health
That's
and
right.
and do
Yeah,
what's
right.
right. That's what teenagers
Right.
do.
Right. And you know, me and my love, we still working. Both of
Oh.
us, we still work for Life
And
Care
do you know
Lives.
we're down there serving seniors?
Oh,
Serving
wonderful.
seniors.
It's
We-
wonderful.
We did a lot of hard work, but now, see about waiting on the Lord? All I do is say, did you get your meal today? I call my seniors, did you get your meal today? And she will do it. And then I call the seniors and welcome them.
Wonderful.
And my love, we don't work hard
Yeah,
anymore.
but you're still working.
But
we're
but
still
we're
working, we're still
we
getting
3
a
hours a
paycheck.
day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she said, you know what? You know the reason why we're using y'all because you're efficient.
Oh,
Said
Right.
you believe in doing it right.
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 And you don't
Right.
take all day to do it.
Right.
All right now.
So-
We get a paycheck every other
and
week.
listen, they be, and I said, Jan, what we gonna do? We gonna get us. I told her we got to watch that because you know somebody up there in D.C. have his hand stuck out trying to
ladies.
dig your pocket.
Well, ladies, I appreciate this. This has been
Oh,
a
it was
wonderful
fun.
conversation.
It was
I don't know if we
fun.
had questions, but it doesn't matter.
It
We had a
doesn't
good conversation, didn't we?
I think we did have a couple of questions. Mike, can you just tell us what questions we might have? Okay. Anything you would like to see the church do that it has not done?
Well, as far as seniors go, no, but they already done it. But we'd like to generate a new thing for the seniors now, because there's a different group of seniors now.
Okay.
You know, we're on the far end. These are
Young people,
the young
right,
people that
yeah,
are
the
reaching
young people.
senior age now that
That's
they
true.
would like to do some things. Now, what I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea as for my personal.
But you know, as we come back, when we come back, I'm so excited excited.
But you just want the
be
church
in
to
there.
be open. It'd be so
Right.
good to see everybody.
And we can be able to hug now. We can't get too carried away, but well, you know, at least we wear our masks all day, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, but we only work from 10 to 1, sometimes 1:30. It all depends on what we go through. And even I wanted to say, I got cancer also, and I remember Mom and Naomi would come, and they would come down. She lives across from my sister.
Okay.
They would come down and take care of me.
Nice.
Right. Right after I took care of my daughter, she had metastatic, and then as soon as I took care of her, I got it.
And
And
it's
my
those
son got it.
relationships
So
again.
It
they
just
took
proves
care
out
of me.
Yep.
relationships.
Yeah.
That's a $1 million bill right there.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Get the other question, sister.
Mike, was there another question?
Yes, there was. The other question is, how do you keep the beautiful joy?
How do you keep the beautiful joy that you have? She said, I ain't got the answer to that.
It's the
Oh,
man. It's the man upstairs.
The man
It's grace
upstairs.
and mercy
Tell
every
him
day.
to just ask God for
Yeah.
His divine
Yeah.
peace and joy
Divine-
can only come from
yeah.
Him.
Right.
Especially the kind of joy that they're talking
Right.
about. That's the kind of joy that we have, and it comes from Him. It comes
Right.
from
You
God.
can't buy joy. You can't buy peace. It
No
only
amount of
comes
money
from
can
God.
buy it. It has to
Yes.
come from Him.
And the peace that passes all understanding, it guards our heart and our mind.
It keeps you
Right.
straight.
Yeah. So,
We'll take one more, Mike, if you have it.
Yes, I do. Ask Deaconess Ayers, what did you nickname Pastor and Mrs. Troy, youngest son?
Kendall. The baby boy?
yeah, Kendall, which one?
Kendall? Sister, I didn't say that, did I? What did I call you, sister? Onion head. Now listen, I wasn't in my right mind because sister told me to mind my business. So I just went on up the road with that. I didn't want to even remember it. You know why? Tell them. Sister Troy could eat a field of onions.
Oh my goodness.
Onions.
Onions. Wow.
Onions. She would just eat them. Eat onions. I've never seen nobody eat onions like that. So that's how it come about. See, I was watching her. She said, sister, mind your business. And she would just eat them onions. I said, look at there. And I'd look at her, and she just tearing them down. Onions. Onions. Can
Raw,
you?
just
raw.
raw.
All you do is clean them, give them to it.
Oh, my goodness.
Just put them green kind come out the garden, clean them, baby, and give them to her.
yeah.
She would tear them down.
Right.
So you called the baby on your head.
Oh, well, she said, you better watch it, sister. I said, okay. And every chance she got, though, I was feeding them to her, wasn't I?
You
I
had,
do, my sister.
you had onions
I'd
out of
say,
your garden.
Come over here, sister. I'd buy them for her because I like to see her eat like that. And I couldn't,
Yeah.
and you know, I couldn't say what, she wouldn't, she said, Naomi, you better get on away from here, mind your business. And I just hit the track.
That's funny. Well, thank you so
Oh,
much.
it's
This
been
has
a
been a
pleasure.
lot of
It's
fun.
It's been a pleasure. To God be the glory.
They told me it would be. They said, you're going to enjoy talking to you.
Yes.
And I sure have. So thank you, my
And
love.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
thank
us.
you for
Thank you for having us.
Ayers.
Thank you
It's
for
our
having us.
pleasure.
It's been a
Have you.
It's our
pleasure.
pleasure.
And we're just so excited as a church to be celebrating our 112th
112.
anniversary.
By all means.
Amen.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
It's a joy to
Amen.
be
It's going
here.
to be a joy. It's
It's gonna be a
absolutely.
joy.
Amen.
So thank you all for joining us tonight. Another episode of Wellness Wednesdays. We'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe
Thank
and
you.
stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.